Do you want to know what I hate? Teen drama shows. They're all so convoluted and unrealistic, and every quote unquote teenager is played by someone in their mid 20s. However, as I write all of these characteristics down, I realize that Euphoria falls into every single one of them. Yet I love it. How is that possible? Have I lost my mind? Has my taste changed? Where is the beef? Let's talk about Euphoria. Euphoria came out in 2019, created by Sam Levinson, released on HBO Max, starring once Disney star, now movie star and protective girlfriend, Zendaya. I completely ignored this show when it came out. It gave me the vibes of a stupid CW romance high school type of show, so I never looked into it. I doubted I'd ever hear about it again, to be completely honest. Joke's on me, as over the past 2 weeks I've been completely invested in the show. Imagine a stupid CW show flipped on its head and turned up to 100. Let me tell you why this show is turning into one of my favorites. Number 1. Built different. I can't keep up with the amount of horrible teen movies and shows put on streaming what seems like every week. From The Kissing Booth 1, to The Kissing Booth 2, Electric Boogaloo, to The Kissing Booth 3, The Squeakquel. They're all the same. And I don't blame anyone for liking these types of movies. They can definitely be a guilty pleasure. They're just an extremely guilty pleasure worthy of the electric chair. However, there is something worse than these little Addison Rae type of movies on Netflix. The motherfucking CW channel. The goddamn shows that they got on this thing. Most are the worst TV you can bear to watch. And then like Riverdale I've heard is pretty good, and like the first season of Supernatural I personally really like. Other than that though, I mean like pure garbage. However, through watching at least some of these shows/movies, I've realized that most share a lot of traits. A huge cast, teenagers played by 30-year-olds, stupid twists that keep the show going but actually don't change anything, bad acting, awful script writing, bland lighting, awful cinematography. You get the idea. Like I said earlier, the funniest thing is that Euphoria shares at least some of these traits with those other awful shows. However, it differs a lot in the more technical aspects, giving it its own style and feel to its world. For example, it has the best music in a show I think I've ever seen. If you need to add some songs to a playlist or want to hear some new stuff, throw on an episode. I swear it will give you some ideas. The soundtrack is genuinely slappers. Not only that, but the lighting in every episode almost feels dreamlike. There's all these purple hues and unnatural colors with tons of smoke, and it doesn't look realistic, but it does look awesome. So fuck you. The realism as well is handled perfectly, as the main character we follow is a drug addict and her world is always a little fucked. So when we get these insane shots with insane lighting, it at least has some connection with the story. It's all done with a purpose. The editing as well in this show is so much fun. There's constantly a bunch of little tricks either with the camera or in post or combining the two to make these wacky stylish shots that just tickle my brain in the right spot. They really did a great job with this show, technically, and I think it gets overshadowed by the fact everyone's amazed at the amount of penises on screen at one time. Number 2, the penis factor. This show is intense at times and very weird at others. The first episode basically starts with a man fucking a trans teenager, so just know you're getting into some shit. However, I enjoy weird things, I always have. Therefore, I really enjoy this show. It has a huge sexual angle. And being set in high school, where many people find themselves sexually, it's clearly going to be a big theme of the whole show. I was expecting that going in. What I did not expect was like straight up porn in every episode. Like dick parties halfway through, porn of all types, moaning, retching, and choking like, golly, what is this, an episode of The Golden Girls? R.I.P. Betty White. It consistently chooses to go to the next level. Like you think it's done and it will relax, and then boom, something crazier even happens. It's like my bar mitzvah all over again. It's rare to see something so weird and scandalous with such major studio backing as well. Shout out to Drake and his producer, as well as A24 for that shit. Specifically A24, they know what they're doing. This is a rare show. It really is. And I am happy to see something like this made, especially these days. It's genuinely refreshing to see. You want to know what isn't refreshing to see, though? Motherfucking Nate Jacobs. Number 3, the characters. The characters are not very realistic. Again, high schoolers played by like 30-year-olds, but it's not really going for that realism. However, the show does enough with its script to make them at least feel somewhat real. Although every character is extremely over the top in some way, they always have one aspect of their life holding them down, making them relatable, and kind of grounded, which in turn grounds the whole show in at least some sort of sense of realism. For example, Nate, Jacob Elordi's character, is a complete douchebag psychopath who is the worst. However, he has grown up with the pressure from his dad to be the best, as well as being sexually frustrated at a young age after finding his dad's porn collection. He's extremely competitive, and this is because of the way he grew up. And with Rue, she has a normal family holding her down. And with Jules, her dad is like the sweetest guy. This also allows many of the characters to go even further over the top, as they have that anchor, so it never seems too far. It gets close, but it never does get too ridiculous. This also gives the show a sense of anxiety, which is like its main feature, as you never know what the characters are going to do next. It's always a toss-up. It's a complete opposite of CW, who exclaim what they're going to do a scene before they do it. This show isn't perfect, however. I don't want to paint the picture that it is. It does have some pitfalls. The main one being, again, the characters look like they're 30. I think a lot of this would have been fixed if they just set the whole story in college, but whatever. It does rely on some of them being below the age of consent, so, do what you gotta do, I guess. Not only that, they make these 16 to 17-year-old characters have, tons of sex, mostly on screen. Chris Hansen would not be a fan. But besides that, I think every character is written pretty strong, my favorites being Fezco and Jules at the moment. In a show with as huge a cast as this, the characters really make or break it. Thankfully, it has enough grounded moments to balance out the absolutely insane other moments to make it have that twinge of realism. Again, it's just rare to see a show like this, and I'm appreciative of the fact that they do clearly care about the characters and the show as a whole. It's crazy how these days it's a surprise when a show cares about its characters and tries to make something visually intriguing, and people won't watch it because of the, gay sex. Do I blame them? No. But is it worth watching for plenty of other reasons? Yes. If you have HBO Max, or a friend with HBO Max, ask to borrow it, but don't tell them why, because the true reason, they'll most likely say no. Watch this show. It's dope, it's worth it, it's one of my new favorites. Tell me what you think about it down below, I'm interested to know. Thank you for watching.